Attention, everybody. This is a Rajbansi of the Minority Front.
We have yet to find a single other voice in this country who has stood up for the marginalized and oppressed and the exclusion of the Indian community.
Raj was a true leader who went beyond the calling and ensured that he fights for the Indians.
He's unmatched in terms of reading the mood of the community. Whatever his motivation was, he could see where people were and what you needed to take them along with you. When there's scarcely a politician who would go to an ordinary person's funeral, there's scarcely a politician who would come out and commiserate with a family that might have experienced tragedy.
A tactician, blunt if he needed to be, but also with a heart of gold for those he cared about.
He was special to the community that he served. He tried to argue that he was a party for all people, but by and large, his voting bloc was the South African Indian community.
He never ever sticked anybody's nonsense. And he always said, he pointed a finger and said, "Do not interfere, because I am the tiger."
He was a larger-than-life figure. He was somebody who seemed almost indomitable.
Because here was a man who didn't give himself the title. He earned it. He earned the title of the Bengal tiger, because that was he was. He was ferocious. He was unafraid. He would just get in where everybody else was afraid. And that's what made him, and that's what makes good memories of him.
A person like him would have continued to make a great contribution. And I think by now, which is probably 5 or 8 years after he had passed, I can't remember the exact date, he was beginning to embrace the broader South Africa. And he was beginning to take on issues that reflected broader South Africans. And yeah, his voice will be missed, but his legacy will remain.
He was like a rising sun where, when the sun rose, you basically had the sunlight. And when the Raj walked in, he was not just one of those that looked like a tiger, but he brought the sunlight to the people.
He's definitely made a name for himself as a political icon and should go down in history as such.
He fought for his people, and that's what, in my mind, makes him a legend, is that he always opened his door for his people.
It took me, I think, about a year to understand this was a man that was really very different from what he's portrayed by the media and portrayed by other politicians, etc. He was a different man.
He was good on puns and stuff like that. And, he used to always call me the gambling man, and he says, you're very, very smart. You place your bet on all the horses, And I actually told him, I said, in fact, that's exactly what you do. At times as a politician, I told him I learned it from the best,
Rajbansi was, I'm going to use the term character of note. And why do I say that? He's a person, whether he's right or wrong, he'll never mince his words and he'll stick to what it is. And the one thing he's taught me is that if you push forward, and even sometimes with the so-called agenda, you'll be surprised how you'll deliver on that.
He had an aura about him, a great leadership skill that he possessed that very few had. And that's one of the reasons why Mr. Rajbansi is irreplaceable right now. He was a unique individual and he has left an indelible impression on the history of this country.
Indians feel marginalized, and they are marginalized. They are leaving this country. You take a policy, Mahatma Gandhi Hospital. Our nurses are going to Dubai.
Well, he was burning and he was bright and he was a tiger.
I want to wind up by saying that the price of success
is always eternal vigilance. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.